Specialty automotive repair tools like these usually evolve out of one of two reasons. Number one, a necessity. You need the tool to do a job. The other reason is they're developed out of frustration, because what tool is available doesn't do it very well or doesn't even do it at all. And that's the case here in our shop. Over the years, we've developed quite a few specialty tools, and they're all developed from either a short 8-inch or a long needle nose plier. That's right, a simple needle nose plier. And look at all the tools we've created. So as you go through this video, if you have a cutoff saw and a grinder and a welder, a lot of these tools you can make yourself. Now these tools right here are ones we've developed and actually sell on my website because we've had a lot of requests for them. And I'm going to go over them now. We call them our clamping tools. The first one we developed was this tool right here from a short 8-inch needle nose plier. And this is to get a hold of ignition leads on ignition wires on Mercedes-Benz engines, because sometimes you can't get your hand on there and get down in there and pull them off. It takes a clamping tool like this to get in there and really get those off. And then we started finding out there's a lot of good reasons for this. You can hang on to stuff. You can even open lids to small cans. Or you can get hoses off. You ever get off a fuel hose or a small coolant hose that's stuck? You can get a hold of it with this clamping tool and twist and turn, and it comes right off. Well, right behind that one, we developed a clamping tool that has a nose with 2 points that go together. Now, you've probably never seen a tool like that one there, but there's a lot of times you get down into a tight area, you need to grab a hold of something, and a needle nose flat tip is not enough. You need something that can get a hold of. This is great for getting a hold of vacuum lines, hard lines that are tough to get on. You can put this on things you want to grab this way, where you need to get a little more grip to them, where a normal plier or a needle nose plier will not give adequate grip to go ahead and twist it. Then we developed this tool, which is one of our most popular tools, and it's specific to Mercedes-Benz. And this tool will allow you to get up underneath the car into the transmission tunnel and replace the plastic shift bushings. These are the two bushings on the lever from the transmission and the lever from the shifter that hold the rod that connect the two. And a lot of times those shift bushings will deteriorate and you'll get a sloppy shifter. And without this tool, it's almost impossible to reach up in there and replace those little bushings. So this is a real handy tool if you own a Mercedes-Benz. And then more recently, we've developed a larger clamping tool. This one started out as a tool to hold the diesel fuel injectors so we could work on them during overhaul. This would allow you to get on a wire wheel and clean them. You can clamp onto both ends. So we could hold onto this end when we had them separate, allow you to get a wire brush down in there and clean out the inside of the injector housing. The more we got working with this one, we realized, well, this works great on hoses too. Take a look at this hose, that wouldn't come off this engine. I got a hold of this thing and twist and turn and it pulled right off. I'm sure some of you try to get some of these coolant hoses off some of these old engines and they just get stuck on there with corrosion. And then the other thing I like is using this tool to hang on to punches or chisels, where you really need to do a lot of hammering, and maybe like a lot of us, we've hit our hand at one point in our life or our thumb and we go, no, I don't want to ever have that happen again. And sure enough, it doesn't happen to me anymore. I usually clamp a hold of the punches and chisels with this tool here before I start hammering away with a big hammer. Now over here are tools that we've developed specifically for using in our shop as we manufacture products. And I want to show you those now a little bit closer up and in more detail. We also have a number of clamping tools that we've developed here to use in the shop for production. This one is used to hold the lug bolt when we cut the lug bolt off on the chop saw. Don't ask me why we cut lug bolts off. Some of you might be able to guess, okay? Now this one, we use to cut the pipe. We can grab a hold of the pipe that we use for the pop tester and hold it down tight and then get the chop saw and cut it without getting your hand in or near that cut-off wheel. This one is used to hold the same pipe on the sander, to clean the edges and to get it smoothed out in preparation for welding. And then we've got numerous other clamping tools that we've made here to use in and around the shop for holding various items when we're doing our manufacturing. This is something you can do yourself if you've got a welder and a grinder and a cut-off saw and some know-how. But I'll tell you, these clamping tools are really handy to have around your toolbox. Oh, there's one tool I forgot to mention. We just developed this last week. This is a little clamping tool with a very small hole that allows us to get in onto Mercedes diesel fuel injector return hose and twist it off. And if you do it very carefully, you can do it without damaging the hose. I know that's kind of a funny looking tool, but if you've worked on these old diesels, you're going to really appreciate that one. So if you're interested in any of these tools here that we sell on my website, I'll just put a link below in the show more description. I'll also put some references so that you can see some of these tools in use and learn more about them. But don't be afraid to make your own tools, okay? Just get the bunch of pliers. Once again, you're going to have a welder, but I tell you, it's really nice to be able to develop a tool that can specifically do a job where you can't find any other tool to do it anywhere.